Okay, people. So, I have been waiting for this for a long time. A long time. And yeah, people, I did it. I went to see Dune. Which I mean, I wasn't meant to. It was a mission. It was a crazy thing. So I planned to have a conversation with a friend about it, who loves Dune too. And we always talked about the books and everything like this. So that was planned. And I thought, oh, I'll see it the morning of. So and Saturday I was gonna go to a friend's stag do. So I was just feeling a bit rough. It was just one of them days, you know what I mean? But I headed out late. I was so used to going to Sci-Fi London. My ass was on just pilot mode. I went the wrong fucking way. I went the wrong way. So I ended up in this spot and I was just like, you know what? I'm done, man. I'm just not in the mood. I'm done. Fuck it. Like, there's no train back. Yeah, I can't be bothered to wait. Technically, I wasn't going to probably wait for long anyway, but I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll go cinema, I'll watch Dune. So that's what I did. Had a phenomenal time. Came out, my ass nearly got stranded. Right? The night tube, which I have got this night tube numerous times, was not running. The tube was locked off. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? So go to get my phone and the Uber app wasn't downloaded. Oh, fuck. I then see I have got 10% on my phone. I'm like, shit. So I'm walking around. I managed to find a good spot because eventually the app downloaded. I'm like, yo, okay. This time I've got 5% on my phone, and I find one cab, get it, boom, all's good, and then suddenly, right? It says we're gonna be 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Then I get a message going, your cab was cancelled. Right? What? You know what I mean? Book another. I'm like, motherfuckers. So I'm looking, I'm still on 5, which I'm like, yo, okay. And I managed to get another one. But then I can't find it. When he's like, cabs around, can't find. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have to call. This is my phone. Luckily, it was great. It was all worked out. All worked out, and my ass got home. But I did not factor in how I'll pay a big chunk of cash from my fucking cab. So yeah, it was an eventful one. It was an eventful one. And I have to tell you people that if the film was not what it was, I would have been in such a real bad. Oh man, I'd be like trying to fucking kill someone, man. It was insane. But hey, it was a good film, people. It was a good film. And also, as I was feeling rough, right? So I get to the cinema, man. And it technically it started, but with ads and trailers. So I come in to what trailers were playing. I think there was an Eternals trailer. There was something else which I cannot remember. But yeah, my eyes were like, ugh. So I took my glasses off. And as Dune started, this white writing came on the screen. And I'm thinking, oh, what's this? Couldn't see a thing. Like, usually I might have been able to make out the shapes. This was just one fussy line. I'm just like, oh no. You know what I mean? Is this the cap off? Like just a shitty day to then find out that, son, I think your eyesight all gone and fucked up. I'm like, shit, I cannot afford to lose what fucking sight I got. I was like, oh no, I don't enjoy this film, people. Fuck. But film started, and straight away I'm like, oh, okay, this is good. This is good. So before we get into it, it is directed by Denis Villeneuve, and he writes it along with Jon Spaihts and Eric Roth. Which, yeah, I like, interesting triplet of writers. I'm very confident in Villeneuve, and the other two have written some good stuff. There's also been a few stinkies, but you're like, all right, you know what? Fine, let's go with it. You know what I mean? Fuck it. We'll see what happens. And obviously, it's an adaptation of Frank Herbert's book, which is 1965, I believe, man. So Villeneuve, he produced it along with Mary Parent, Kyle Boyler, and Joe Carcaculo Jr. Cinematography is Greg Fraser. It's edited by Joe Walker. Music is Hans Zimmer, people. Yeah, music is Hans Zimmer. And I gotta say, that is very surprising. And I say it's surprising because this is a Hans Zimmer soundtrack like I don't think anything we've heard from the man. This was something else. It really was, people. It really was. So yes, that is that. Oh, we need to get onto the cast. So Oscar Isaacs is Duke Leto Atreides. Rebecca Ferguson is his consort, his concubine, Lady Jessica. She's a Bene Gesserit. Then we have got Timothe Chalamet as Paul Atreides, the ducal heir. Leto and Jessica's son. Josh Brolin is Gurney Halleck, their weapons master. We then have got Stephen McKinley Henderson, who this dude I have seen in so many films, but I didn't know his name. But yeah, Stephen Kinley Henderson. He is Fufi Howitt. He's the house mentor. Let's go Chang Chen. He's Dr. Wellington Yu. He is the Atreides Sook Doctor. Jason Momoa is Duncan Idaho, their swords master. Then, where shall we go? Let's do the Harkonnen. We have got Stellan Skarsgård, who is Baron Vladimir Harkonnen. He's the head of House Harkonnen, the Baron. The arch rivals of House Atreides. We have Dave Bautista as Gluso Raban, the nephew of Baron Harkonnen. Because yeah, the Baron doesn't actually have any children. Then there is Peter de Veers, who is the Harkonnen Mentat, and he is played by David Dastmalchian. Okay, so we have them. And let's then go with Charlotte Rampling. She is Gaius Helen Mohaim. She is the Reverend Mother of the Bene Gesserit and the Emperor's Truthsayer. We then have got Benjamin Clementine. He was the Herald of the Change. Yes. Which is a new thing, right? We didn't get that in the books, right? Which I thought was interesting. Okay, so we got them out the way. So it then makes sense to go with, oh yes, Sharon Duncan-Brewster is Dr. Liet Kynes, which was an interesting move, right? Interesting move right there. We've got Ziandia as Chani, right? She's a Fremen. We've got Javier Bardem as Stilgar, which like all these people, I'm kind of looking and thinking, I recognize you, and I couldn't think of anyone's names. It was just like, yo, who do I know that person from? We've got Babs Olasmoncum as a Janice. He's another Freeman. Gloda Roche-Aval is Shadap Mapes. She's also a Freeman. It's a great cast, people. Really is a great fucking cast. Woo! So yeah. Now, what was crazy, you know what I mean? Because when they earmarked this, you know, there's Legendary, they picked up the rights in 2017. So we, been waiting all that time. But, right, they only, because when they brought Villeneuve on, so, all the planning and everything goes into it. So they decided to split because I was always wondering, how are they going to tell this story in one film, right? How long is this film going to be to cover everything? But then we got word, it's going to be a two-parter. You're like, all right, that makes sense. But where are they going to cut it? Now, what then seemed insane, they only greenlit part one. Only greenlit part one, right? And only signed people up for the one film, which is insane. It's insane, right? And the thing was, it's going to cost a lot of money, so we don't want to do all of this. But at the same time, they greenlit a TV series, right? The Sisterhood, which is going to be following the Bene Gesserit. Right, it's intriguing. We've got Villeneuve, we've got Scapita, Roth. They're all involved, so it's still going to be that high quality. It's going to be tonally. It's going to fit in with the film and all of this jazz. Great, but you've greenlit a TV series, but not a second part of the fucking film? It's insane. It's insane. But the one thing that was golden was, right? So they said, because, it's through Warner Brothers, so obviously they're doing that hybrid thing at the moment. So to warrant a sequel, it wasn't just going to be on ticket sales. They were also thinking of, right, viewership on HBO Max. So that was like, as soon as I heard that, I was like, all right, we're gonna get a part 2. It will happen for sure. But it's just like, when are they gonna announce? Right? When are they gonna announce? But yeah, no, I'm jacked. Jacked. So looking forward to this. And as I said, it opens up and we have this voiceover, which I know it's Channing, right? Because that was a thing. One of the things I did hear, I stayed away from trailers and all of this. I think I saw a quick sneak thing, but that was it. Villeneuve had said that it's kind of going to come from Channing's point of view, which I thought was intriguing, and there's definitely parts of the film that can be told in that vein. But yeah, it was just like, all right, how are you doing this, man? So it opens up, and Channing, she talks about the spice and the oppression on Dune, right? So we see Channing, we see Dune, we see some Freeman, we also see Harkonnen. We then transition to Paul. He's asleep, he's dreaming, right? But we see Caladan, which was interesting. We then see Gidi Prime, right? The Harkonnen world. So we see the arid Arrakis, right? We then see the water-strewn Caladan, and we see this metal austere Gidi Prime. So we get this great contrast, which really does let you have a feel of these different characters, these different cultures, these different mindsets, right? That's mad interesting. And the approach to this is epic, right? Everything has this sense of vastness, right? The space, right? Just these castles, the forts these people live in. It all has that. But the other thing is as well, right? I definitely got this sense of like Middle Eastern culture, Middle Eastern lore, right? And that's kind of a thing of the Bene Gesserit, but also just with these styles in which we're seeing, visually that. So we have that. There's also elements of Greek, Egyptian. Like when we see the cities on Arrakis, you do get that kind of Egyptian, Inca kind of feel to it, but with its own spin. It's not just we're going to put pyramid. You know what I mean? It's not that, because they're not really pyramids, but it's just aesthetically, it's a feel, it's a vibe, right? I kind of got that. And boy, oh shit. I was like, yo, this is great, man. This is great. And as I said, this is a different score from we've heard from Hans Zimmer. Is this? Oh man, it's just like chanting. There's no music, right? Which, yeah, I'm not mad at, right? I don't need a theme song. Although, you know what I mean? Just don't get me wrong. The scores of Lord of the Rings were great. And the theme music, the songs on those, like we had Enya, I think Sinead O'Connor did one, right? And I forget, there was a guy that did one and I can't think of the name. But I liked them. It all worked. But this wasn't that. This was something completely different, and it worked so well. Because in these fever dreams that Paul is having, we have this chanting, this chanting, this ramped up kind of like oppressive feel to it all. And there's bagpipes. You know what I mean? And I can see someone be like complaining about the bagpipes, but the bagpipes made mad sense to me because you got that feel of a Rob Roy, a Robert the Bruce. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. These people against these incredible odds, looking failure in the face, but doing it with dignity. And that's House Atreides, especially on Arrakis, right? So you're like, yo, okay. You know what I mean? And like, man, just like, you know what I mean? As I said, look, the Herald of Change was a new thing for the film. And I love that scene. We had our Daft Punk kind of vibe. It was crazy. But it all made sense. There's also, I think if you're fans of the book, you've read the books, right? And you understand, and especially with the other two editions, right? Post Frank, where we get into the Bathillion Jihad. And yeah, you understand this whole, and it's in Dune, it's in all the original books too, but it's the fact that you shouldn't be like a machine, right? That's a big thing. And everything in this, it's got a physical feel, right? There's a point when they're on Arrakis, and we have Gurney and Leto looking out, assessing the land, and someone's like, yo, we got to shut the doors, and there's these huge stones that the people are pushing, right? There's no fancy mechanism. It's not like this, no, they're pushing these slabs, and everything has that kind of thing. There's not a lot of fancy technical, like when you read them, Paul at the beginning, he's reading a film book, and you're like, oh, I don't know what that is. Like, is it going to be like a Kindle? Like, is it going to be some new kind of thing? No, it essentially just looked like a book, right? But, the way this is, that is interesting for them, right? So it's these, and we do get, it's not to say they don't have tech. They do have tech, but it's just represented in a different way. It's interesting, man. So intriguing. Like, they do have holograms, like the shields they use, the way that's visually represented is, oh, it's very good. It is very good. I was happy, especially with the Fopters. Yo, like, in the books, they're described in this way that the Sci-Fi Channel version, they were okay. But these, and they look like dragonflies. It was superb. It was superb, people. And here's the thing. All the ships had a unique feel to them, right? It didn't feel like, oh, we've seen that in Star Wars. Oh, that's kind of like Star Trek. Oh, that's like, no, everything had its own kind of feel. Everything, and different shapes, which I thought was great. They didn't just go with that, oh, a spaceship should be. No, this was inventive. It was creative. It was great. Oh, and the way, right? There's this point where, the way the legs came out of this ship as it was coming down. There was a grace to it, but still this kind of mechanicalism. Oh my days. You just felt happy to see this. Felt happy that it just worked, right? I remember when I saw Lord of the Rings, visually I was like, yo, this speaks to me, man. This speaks to the visions I had in my head. And with this, Like, they made a few changes, gender swapped kinds, which made sense. Because when you think about it, right? So the Bene Gesserit have got this level of authority standing within the Imperium. So it's not foreign for women to lead the way and to have a sense of control in this universe, right? And you kind of feel that a genealogist, and especially on Arrakis, yeah, could well be a woman, right? So I wasn't mad at that change. But yeah, or although that there was a change there in some other places, it did all feel like, yo, no, this is June, man. This is it, right? Like this isn't too far from my vision, my thoughts, and hey, it's even excelled in places, right? I'd never have gone to that. Man, I love that. Like the crazy thing with this though, in the book, there's a lot of expedition, right? The book is framed with extracts from Ilian's diaries, from history books, and different texts. So we get relayed a lot of information in that way. So the film uses different things to get some information across. They put it within conversations with people and stuff like that. But there's a lot of stuff that is left out, right? There's no explanation on certain things, right? We don't know really about Spice, about Mentats, about anything. There's no lineage, history, legend told, but I feel it works anyway. Right now, obviously, I've read these books so many times. I've read them, and then it's just straight listening. Yeah, audiobooks, baby. But I've done them so many times, like so many times. Love these books so much. The original books. Let me be clear. The original books. Although I will say the House trilogy, solid. But yeah, done them so many times that I'm just watching this thing and I'm just not disappointed. I'm not disappointed. It all makes sense. Even the point where they did end the film made sense. I'm like, I was surprised that they went as far as they did, because I kind of thought they were gonna to stop at a certain point, to like towards the end. You'd be like, all right, I see it stopping there. But they threw on a little sign, and you're like, all right, yeah, I'm not mad that they included that, and even that they changed it. So we have all of this, and it's great. It's great. It is great. Yeah. I just felt so fucking happy, man. Felt so happy and pleased. It's definitely different to Lynch's version, right? It's not so like esoteric. It's not so, experimental. Like one thing someone told me, they came out of it and they were like, yo, I mean, I don't know, right? Because like the box scene in Lynch's, it's insane. In this, they were like, it's just him with his hand in there and just grimacing. But I'm like, yo, so I was a bit like, all right, we'll see. So when I saw that scene, boy, I thought that scene was handled so well, so well. Because in the book, he does a thing, but they switch it out. And so you're going back and forth, and it works even more, right? We have this visual shift. As I said, look, we have chanting, we have all of this, and it works, right? Yes, we see him grimacing, but the interplay with his emotions is clear too. So that scene was great. Like everyone acted so well in this, right? So in the Lynch and the Sci-Fi Channel, you had some great acting, and we had some stinky ass shit. Not in this. Everyone is killing it. Everyone is killing it. I can't speak highly enough. I'm just like, yo, if you love Dune, this is to see. And I think, look, I understand if you're still not comfortable going to the cinema, but see, like Harder They Fall, oh, you will get so much more out of this on a big screen and with a great sound system, right? Because the way it all comes together, oh man, the sound is so integral to it, but then so is the cinematography, right? The cinematography, the script, the acting, the sound all merges and gives us this delight, people. So yes, I think I've waffled on for a long time. Yeah, June, people, I was not disappointed, and we do know part 2 has been greenlit, so it's a great time, people. It's a great time. Go get you some. Yeah, leave comments. Let me know if you've seen it. I mean, it's great. I definitely would love to know what, how other people have interpreted this adaptation. But for me, loved the hell out of it.